Interview for Veterans Project. Okay. Please state your full name, date of birth, and city and state in which you live.
My name is Luis Y. Salcido, and I live in Thiels, New York, North Rockland County,
And which war did you serve?
Vietnam.
Okay, and what was your branch of service?
Pardon me?
What branch did you serve in?
The Army, United States Army.
Okay. And what was your highest rank achieved?
E4.
Okay. And in what general locations did you serve? Oh, you already said Vietnam. Did you serve anywhere else?
Well, I was stationed state side for a year before I went to Vietnam. And in October of '66, I was shipped over to Vietnam.
Okay. And were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was a draftee.
And what exactly was that like being drafted? Like finding out that you had to.
Well, you get a letter in the mail. It's called greetings, in red lettering, and it was greetings from the President of the United States, and it instructed me to report to an induction center, and I did.
And where were you living at the time of that?
Fresno, California.
Do you recall the date?
I don't recall the date. It must have been in sometime in November of '65, probably mid-November.
Okay. Did you get to pick what branch you wanted to be in, or were you automatically drafted?
Well, believe it or not, they actually did give you a choice. You could go into the Marine Corps or into the Army.
Mm-hmm.
And I have heard the Marine Corps was much tougher, and so when the sergeant asked me, I said, I'll just go with the Army.
Makes sense, definitely. So what were your first days in service like? You said you were still stateside.
Yeah, after I reported to the induction center. They gave you a physical, and you took an oath, and then they put you on a Greyhound bus to Fort Ord, California, which was on the Pacific.
Greyhound, not a military bus?
No, it's a Greyhound bus. And they put all of us in this Greyhound bus, and by 7 o'clock at night we were at Fort Ord, California, right on the Pacific. And we bunked up for the night, and in the morning we got a haircut, got our uniforms,
Mm-hmm.
and were assigned to a platoon.
Did you have a lot of hair at the time, or
Oh yeah,
you had the locks?
yeah. I had a hair, pretty long hair, and the first thing they do is run the clippers down the middle of your head.
Oh, right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
So what did all that feel like exactly? Like the first
It was
few days of induction and the change.
you were full of anxiety, and because you didn't know the system, you didn't know what to expect, and then you had this drill sergeants yelling at you all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was confusing, and everybody was full of anxiety. It's like a little bit like reporting to prison.
Yeah, very high tense.
Very high energy,
Yeah.
tense situation.
Do you remember like all your instructors?
Yeah, because I have like a yearbook that they gave me at the end of the boot camp graduation, and I still have it.
So, with all your okay.
And all the guys you were with
Mhm.
in the platoon, and all your drill sergeants, and
It's pretty cool.
my sergeant was Sergeant Johnson.
So, how exactly did you get through boot camp? Like, what were your obstacles, challenges?
Well,
What
you
was
know,
easy?
the boot camp was mainly physical. It was running, uh, exercise, jumping jacks, push-ups, uh, doing pull-ups, and just discipline.
Hmm. So, other than shaping your body, like, how else did they create you into a soldier?
Well, they also a lot of it is psychological too. They uh, force you to learn the culture, the military culture, which you didn't know before. They have a code of conduct which you have to follow,
Hmm.
and then along with the physical, the PT exercise, and you do this for 2 months. Uh, I think no, it was 12 weeks. 12 weeks, which is about what 3 months? Yeah,
Yeah.
give it a few days, about
Hmm.
3 months.
Okay. And so, after boot camp, where did you go?
After boot camp, I went. I went home for 30 days, and then they sent me to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, for artillery school. And I went to artillery school for 2 months and shot cannons, 105 Hausers and 155 Hausers, and they were all towed, which means that they hooked them up to a truck.
So that was your MOS, like your job,
That was my
um,
job, artillery.
artillery. Okay. And so, what were your first impressions when you got there?
Well, when I got to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is in a little town called Lawton, Oklahoma, uh, I went by train from Fresno, California to Oklahoma City, and then from Oklahoma City I took a bus. And when I got to the fort, it had snowed the night before. I had never seen snow.
Oh,
First
until
time,
that point,
yeah,
really?
the first time I seen snow.
Jeez.
Not much of it. It was about 3 or 4 inches, but enough.
Mm-hmm. And then where did you go after that?
Well, I was in Fort Sill for about 8 months, uh, and then they one day they gave me orders to report to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And so I flew. I took a plane from Oklahoma City to Fort Bragg, and I went there for jungle training.
Okay.
Uh, and the jungle training was about a month, I believe, or a month and a half. And then we got orders to go to Vietnam from there.
So, what was a typical day, um, while you were still stateside when you weren't training, and what did you do? I guess at the end of the day, like before you went to bed and everything, did you guys have any free time to do what you wanted?
No, you know your day was occupied. Boot camp from 4:30 in the morning to about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. You were doing something, and so by the time you got to bed, you were exhausted.
Mm-hmm. You just wanted to sleep.
You just want to go to sleep, And then the next day it was the same thing, and it was the same thing with uh, what they call AIT, advanced training.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it actually got better, became almost normal when you got assigned to a battery, because I was an artillery guy. They assigned me to a battery, and it was the third of the 30th battery. And there it was more normal. You had some downtime. It wasn't like that crazy schedule you had in both boot camp and advanced training. It was more relaxed. I mean, it wasn't like you were on vacation or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
You went out. You went out to the field with the guns and.
It was just like PT and target practice, that kind
Well,
of
we
stuff.
shot the cannons a lot,
Hmm.
and that that was almost like heavy construction because you had to load up the ammo in the trucks. You had to maintain the
Yeah,
trucks.
how many guys were to one cannon?
Five,
Five on
five
each.
to each gun.
How many so like how many guys did it take to pick up one of the shells?
Oh, you could pick it up
How
by
heavy are they?
the 105 artillery shells was just like a big bullet, and
Hmm.
so one guy could do that. It must have weighed about 25, 30 pounds
Oh,
maybe.
okay.
But the other bigger gun, you needed two guys
Hmm.
because that was a big artillery round. So you needed more muscle for that. But you had to keep the trucks clean and in good condition, and also the gun. You got to swap it with solvents or oil, and need a lot of maintenance, both the guns and the truck. So you were busy all the time. It was like heavy, like
Hmm.
reporting for heavy construction work, you know.
Yeah. So how did you get from the States to Vietnam?
Oh, then from Fort Bragg's, uh, we got orders, and I remember they called formation, and they gave me this paper that said I was going to be assigned to a different mission, and I didn't know because they said the Republic of Vietnam, but it was I think it was RVN. You reporting to RVN, and I didn't know exactly what that meant. So I asked another guy that was next to me, and he said, "My friend, you're going to Vietnam." So at that point, I was in kind of shock because I know that Vietnam was getting hot and
And what year is that? 66?
66.
Okay. Yeah. That was that the year that they escalated all the.
The buildup was in 66 and 67, where
Okay.
they had something like 500,000 men. And so,
Well, yeah, I mean they did have soldiers stationed there since like I think 60 or 61, but I think it was 66.
yeah, it built the big buildup.
Yeah.
And so they brought in guys from all over the place to form a new company. And I think a company is made up of about 200 guys,
Hmm.
four, four platoons. And so they sent me to a company by the name of the 60th Ordnance. I didn't know what the word ordnance meant either. I had never heard the word before. So they said, "You're going to the 60th Ordnance, that's your new company." And so I reported to the 60th Ordnance after jungle training, and little did I know that it was an ammunition company. I was no longer an artillery guy.
Um. So they switched you
Yeah, they switched me.
into ammunition.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
they call it 60th Ordnance, but this company that they built up, and they call it the 60th Ordnance, was was mandated to uh, store ammo and dispense ammo in a war zone.
So like the logistics side of it, or
Yeah,
like the actual man part of
well, it was
logistics, like actually
we
getting
were
it there.
the 60th was assigned to the First Law Command in Vietnam outside of Saigon. So when we got to well, first they formed the company, the 60th, and then they flew us from uh, Pope Air Force Base in North Carolina, which is um, a military Air Force base. They flew us from there to Oakland, California. And in Oakland, California, we loaded up on a big troop carrier, and the name of the troop carrier was USS Patch. And there was about, I don't know, lots of guys, maybe 6 companies. There must have been 1,000 guys on that ship.
Mm.
It was a big troop carrier, and the ship belonged to the Merchant Marines. It was not uh, the Navy or the Army or the Air Force. It belonged to the Merchant Marines, and they put us on this boat, and it took us 18 days to get to Okinawa, Japan. And in Okinawa, Japan, they gave us 1 day liberty. Of course, you know what everybody does on 1 day. They get drunk and
Yes, is that what you did too?
yeah. So you know everybody got drunk. So 1 day we got drunk, and then we reported back to Okinawa base, and then they put us back on the ship, the USS Patch, and then the USS Patch anchored right off the coast of Vietnam, Cam Ranh Bay, and it had to be close enough to the beach because we got off by that rope ladder that you often see
Mhm.
on.
Yeah, how'd you get from the ship to land? Was it one of those like
Well,
amphibious
we came down the
vehicles?
rope ladder, and they had those little, uh,
Amphibian boats?
yeah, the one with the flap that comes down.
Oh, yeah. Was it like the duck boats? Was it like the World War II duck boats?
Yeah, like
Really?
that.
Is
Yeah,
that the
the
same
flap came
ones?
down,
Oh my gosh.
and then you run. You know, we
Yeah.
ran on the beach. I remember getting off the little boats and feeling the water seep into my boots. I could
Mm.
feel the water coming in, and of course I wasn't too worried about getting wet. I was more worried about if we were going to get shot at from the land, you know, land side.
But that was like that was a safe area, at least where you were landing, right? That was already a controlled area.
Yeah, it was pretty much half and half.
Oh, okay.
At daytime it was controlled, at night it was pure hell, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that was true of Vietnam most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
In the daytime
Guerrilla warfare.
was peaceful, and at night it was just like World War II, you know.
Yeah. Did you see? You seem to have seen combat.
Yeah, you know, we got ambushed the first night we were there.
Really? The first night you were there, you got
Yeah,
ambushed?
first night.
What?
First
Really?
night, my sergeant got shot in the gut.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, a little hole in the front, a big hole in the back, and I knew we were in for it then.
Mm. Wow. So how'd you get ambushed? It was in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we were on the in the so-called ammo dump, and what?
So you had like a little, what, like an ammo base?
Well, it was like it, you know, if you look at Connecticut, at a big forest,
Mm-hmm.
they had made a road and cleared some area, and they started putting ammo, different types of ammo,
Stockpiling it.
stockpiling,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and that was the ammo dump. But it was out in the wild, so the Viet Cong could come up anytime he wanted and ambush you and blow up the ammo, because if you have no ammo, you can't fight.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I think I would have felt better being an infantry guy.
Really?
Yeah, because you holding the ammo, they were trying to blow you up and kill you.
So you were like a higher target.
Yeah,
than
you were
the
like a
grunts. Yeah. Okay.
like a target they wanted to shoot at.
Yeah, you're a strategic target
Yeah.
because you have something that's valuable. Yeah, that makes sense. Hmm. What was that like? Like seeing combat the first night.
It was pretty scary because, you know, at that point it sunk in that you were in a combat
Were
zone.
you firing your weapon too?
Yeah, you know, you got to fire your M14 rifle.
Oh, you had the M14 still?
Yeah.
So when did you guys get M16s?
We never got the M16. You know, when I left is when they got the M16. And I left in October of '67, and then they switched over to the M16.
So it was still like M1 and M4.
No, just the M14.
Oh, M14?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said M4. Like,
No, the M14.
okay.
But the M14 was a better weapon than the M16.
In a lot of ways, yeah. It's just,
Yeah, because it was a big round. It was
yeah, it has more stopping power.
yeah,
And, like,
7.62.
Probably more accurate too.
It was a more accurate rifle, but then for jungle fighting, they decided they needed more.
Versatility.
Yeah, a rifle that could spray a short distance and wasn't that
Mm-hmm. So
heavy to carry.
they were. So the, uh, what were they like? What did you guys call the Vietnamese soldiers like at that point in time?
Well, it
When
was
you
the
were
Viet
there.
Cong, and then Americans referred to all Vietnamese as gooks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the gooks
Yeah.
and the Viet Cong.
Yep. So the Viet Cong had AK-47s when
Yeah, they had
ambushed.
Well, they used the same round that we used, the 7.62 for the M14. And when I got there was hardly any American troops because
Yeah, that fits in AK-47, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so they were just doing the build up then. So we were there. I guess we could say we're the first troops there. You know, we lived in under a tree and our pup tents for a while before we had an actual base camp. So we slept out on the boonies and on the sticks and went to work on the ammo dump, which was out in the sticks too. We didn't have electricity or toilets or anything like that. You went out in the woods like
Mm-hmm.
a bear.
Jeez, what did you wipe with? You guys had toilet paper, right?
Well, if you didn't, you use a leaf.
So sometimes you didn't have toilet paper.
No, sometimes you didn't have toilet paper. You had a big white, big leaf, you know. So it was very primitive. Yeah, so
And how long were you stationed in Vietnam?
12 months.
12 months.
Everybody did 12 months.
And then after that, you were done.
Well, after that, I came back to the States and I was pretty much done, yeah.
Okay.
I did 2 more years of reserves.
Mm-hmm. So, other than like, what were the casualties in your unit?
Well, there was casualties, and you know when a guy got killed, they didn't really make a big thing out of it, you know. I mean, like Smitty got killed about a month after we got there, and they just bagged him and shipped him back to the States. There was no kind of closure, no grieving, no
Mm-hmm.
validation that the guy was gone, you know.
So basically, your entire tour was guarding ammo dumps, basically.
Uh,
What
well,
else,
it wasn't. It was guarding it.
did you have any other assignments or functions?
Well, no, our whole life revolved around the ammo, and there was like thousands of different types of ammo. There was rockets, there was small ammunition for rifles.
So
and
would
pistols.
you also like drive?
Yeah,
that
you also had to drive the ammo to the front lines.
Mm-hmm. So you're like the manpower behind all the logistics.
Yeah, the
of it all.
convoys. You know, we had
Yeah.
convoys delivering ammo to the first calf and anybody who also our coalition, Australians, Canadians, Thailand. Who else was there? Oh, guys from New Zealand, the British,
French.
French. Everybody was there. We had
Yeah.
to give them the ammo that they
The
needed.
French
too.
were definitely there.
Yeah, the French were there.
You were never a prisoner of war, right?
No.
No. Okay.
I told myself I would kill myself.
If you ever got to that,
Yeah, I said I'm not going to be a prisoner of war.
how would you do it then?
I would just.
You wouldn't have anything.
I would just. They would have to kill
You'd
me.
figure something out.
They had to kill me
Yeah.
because I was not going to be a prisoner of war.
You'd probably push them on just enough.
Yeah, you know, I would
Mhm.
just. They would just have to do me in.
So
I knew that much. I didn't know much about anything else because I was about 20 years old.
Hmm.
But I knew I was not going to be a prisoner of war.
Yeah. So you were like the stereotypical American soldier in the war.
Yeah,
Young. Mm,
young and naive because I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it now.
were you awarded any medals or citations?
No, you know, I was an average guy. I worked 16 hours a day. I pulled my 12 months. You know, I did whatever they told me to do. I stepped up to the plate. But you know, I didn't get any medals of like silver medal or anything like that.
Hmm. So how often did you um, get into combat and have to fire a weapon?
Well, it was like you
Like
know,
what was a typical week in Vietnam?
as most people don't know this, but the Vietnam veteran had more combat time than the guy in previous wars. More combat time than World War II guys and the Korean guys. The Vietnam veteran, a Vietnam combat veteran, saw more action, spent more time in combat because in Vietnam it was a
It
guerrilla
was
warfare.
constant.
It was always
Yeah.
on.
Hmm.
Mortars, getting mortars, uh, you know, getting blown up, firefights here and there and everywhere. It was on all the time.
So what was that? Were you guys you guys must have been aware that it was a much different war than
Not really. We didn't know.
like the ways it was being fought.
Well, you know what? We didn't know that about the other wars because nobody really told us. We just knew we had to survive 12 months.
Hmm.
And if you survived the 12 months, you were out of there. You were home free.
Did you guys like count down the days?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Counting, you know, we had like a.
Did you count them down backwards? Like
Yeah,
how many
you
days
had
you got left?
You had like a calendar of a girl. And you know, stuff like that. And they call that short time. When your 12 months was up, then when you had a month left or something like that, they used to call you a short timer because you're getting short. And then one day they just they come out and get you and call your name out. I remember I was in the middle of the boonies in the jungle when they said, Salcedo, bag it up, get your stuff, you're going home.
You didn't even know you were going home that day?
No,
Really?
no, they
So
just
it
came
was
out and
just a
got me.
surprise?
It was like a surprise. And then I had to make my way back to the 90th replacement, which was about 5 miles down the street. I had to catch a ride on a truck that was going there to get processed to get on the plane to come home. It was really strange. And then when I got discharged, I got discharged by myself. I had a little bag like that of just a change of clothes, and that was it, and $300.
So, this might be difficult, but do you know if you killed anybody?
You know, we used to shoot into what you didn't see. The Viet Cong had tunnels under the whole ammo base, and everywhere that Americans had a base, they had dug tunnels.
Around.
Yeah, and they used to pop up and go under, and they never left their dead behind either.
Really?
So if you killed one of them, they would drag them, take them back into the hole. And there was an occasion where the guys knew that Viet Cong was buried. They dug him out, took his skull and put it on top of the sandbags as a trophy, you know. But other than that, You didn't know if you killed anybody. They shot back, and you know, you shoot. It was just a shooting thing,
Yeah.
and
It was like hit and run,
yeah, yeah, hit and run, drag you dead, and wounded.
cut and run.
They
So.
had an extensive tunnel system.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have to like clear those out when you found them?
Well, we did, but we did sweeps with. Uh,
Did they actually have guys like going into the tunnel?
Yeah, they had tunnel runs.
Mhm.
They selected the smallest guys.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
I've seen like a documentary about
Yeah,
that.
real small guys would go in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of big. They didn't select me. And then they used to get a heavy chain, and two caterpillars would go over the terrain and then sink in the tunnels. But I mean, a lot of the times we didn't know there were tunnels there. We just we found out after we left Vietnam. There was a lot of tunnels there.
Hmm.
But the whole place was.
So wow, so you could have killed somebody and you would never even know.
No, no.
That's interesting.
Now there was occasions where on the wire they used to find them, and lots of times the Viet Cong with his black pajamas was dead on the wire, and the concertina wire trying to get in.
The what?
Viet Cong.
No, what do you mean the wire?
Well, the ammo dump later on they put on barbed wire.
Oh, around it.
Yeah, like cattle wire.
Mm-hmm.
And when there was a firefight with the Viet Cong trying to come in, you would find the bodies there, but you didn't know whether you killed them or,
Mm-hmm.
The guy.
Because it was like almost all at night, right?
Everything happened at night.
Did you have any combat at all, like in the daylight?
No,
Really?
just
Wow.
a Tet. And I already had left.
You were.
I already had left. I think I left in November, and a Tet happened in February. And during Tet, there was daytime fighting, but
Yeah.
most of the action was at night. Everything happened at night.
Hmm. Did you sustain any injuries?
Huh?
Did you sustain any injuries?
No, I got
Banged up, bruised up.
I got jungle rot in my feet, and
Oh, what is that like?
from not taking your boots off, getting wet.
So like the old trench foot thing,
Yeah, it's like fungus.
kind of like that. Okay.
Yeah,
So, like a lot of guys get that.
yeah, because you never took your boots off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, rain or shine, you were out there.
Yep. So while you were there, did you stay in touch with your family?
Yeah, there was a mail call. A few letters, care packages and stuff like that. We didn't have phones. You couldn't
Just
talk.
letters.
Yeah, there was no phone service. And
Did you ever like there must have been times where you would like go back to a base, right? And
Well, we
stay
had a
for
base.
A few nights.
We had a base.
Like what like you must did you have like time off in the jungle? Like were
No.
you there for some time, then you maybe come back? for a
I
few
think they
days?
gave us 3 days every
every
3 months, and
it's
most of the time you were on from
yeah, it's like nothing.
from 3 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock in the evening to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock the next morning.
So what'd you do on those days off?
When the town got drunk,
What cities?
Bien Hoa,
Bangwa.
yeah, and Bien Hoa was the nearest city to where the ammo dump was at, and that ammo dump was called Long Bend. Long Bend was where all the ammo was at.
Did you ever go to Saigon? Because that was
Yeah.
still in control then.
Yeah, we went to Saigon.
They lost that after the Tet Offensive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. After the Tet, it became. After we pulled out, it became Ho Chi Minh City.
Mm-hmm. And what was the food like while you were there?
Bad.
Worse.
The food was bad.
Was it?
What we ate K rations, which is leftover canned food from World War II.
No way.
Yeah,
Leftover canned food from World War II.
right. They call it K rations.
Oh my gosh.
And so we ate a lot of that. And once in a while, when we did get a hot meal back at the base, it was chicken and water buffalo. And so after a while, you
You guys
stop
ate
eating.
water buffalo? Like
Yeah,
the ones that were there?
yeah.
Mm.
After a while, you stop eating. Really, I stopped eating. I went from 175 pounds to 127.
Really?
When I got discharged, I weighed 127 pounds.
Were you like completely malnutritioned?
I stopped eating. I just did not like
You
the
didn't
food.
want to eat?
No, and it was too hot. It was 120, 100.
Oh, and all that humidity too.
Yeah, wet, hot. I mean, it was extremely hot.
So you'd say like your whole experience was probably pretty low. It
Pretty
doesn't
what?
sound very fun.
No, it was. It
It
was.
sounds awful.
It was an awful experience. It was really hot, and you know you were working 16, 17 hours a day,
hmm
and no time off. You would try to survive for 12 months. That was basically it.
hmm
You're fighting the elements as well as the Viet Cong.
So did you have enough supplies while you were there?
No,
You
know
guys
what?
must have since you were.
Yeah, we had everything we needed.
You guys like had all the supplies, so.
Yeah, we had all the supplies. Yeah.
Did you feel like a lot of pressure or stress while you were there?
Yeah.
Definitely.
You were on
Yeah.
working every day, all day.
So how did you handle it?
Well, the way you could, when you got a chance, you got drunk. You know, alcohol was a big releaser of stress releaser.
Would you guys get drunk in the jungle and stuff too sometimes?
No, you couldn't get drunk in the jungle.
Ah,
Just when you got back to your base
Mhm.
camp, you know. No, you got drunk in the jungle, you were done. Because if you smoke anything out there, they could see the cigarette light and shoot into it, and
yeah.
you'd be dead. You did no drugs and no smoking and no drinking while you were out in the field.
So was there anything special you did for good luck, or did you like carry anything for good luck? Like
You
a
know,
charm? Something to kind of like protect you, I guess.
yeah, you had
You
like
have anything like that?
you had like the cross, you know,
Mhm.
Catholic cross that you carry. But even your dog tags were masked by tape because you didn't want them to make any noise.
Ah,
So they
no. Now I know why I always see them taped in like old movies and documentaries
right
and
because
stuff.
they made noise in the night.
Wow. Okay.
But you had your superstitious, and you carry letters in your steel pot. Your steel pot was really your office. You know, you carry if you had a girlfriend, you carry her letters there, and
Stew pot?
yeah,
What's that?
the helmet.
Oh, you put them like in your helmet?
Yeah, I used to, you know,
Just
In-
slide them into the inserts?
yeah, in the inserts,
Okay.
and so you had that was like your personal office, you know.
All in your head,
Yeah.
literally. So what did everyone do to entertain themselves when
Well, you know, they mainly
could you even entertain yourselves?
Well-
Other than when you went back to the city.
when you got back at the camp, you sort of form relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those relationships became very important. I still keep in touch with one guy now in Georgia who became my best friend, you know. So there's a bond, a brotherhood
Yeah.
that, I can't even explain it, but this people become just as important as your siblings, your brothers and sisters.
Mm.
Yeah. And I used to keep in touch with more. I don't know what happened to them. But now I just keep in touch with one guy. And, he calls me often. I go see him over there in Georgia.
That's nice. Did you guys get any entertainment while you were there?
I didn't
Like
see
any
any.
concerts or
I
anything?
mean, Bob Hope came and um Natalie Woods and I don't know who else came and gave shows at the base camp. But I tell you, they had me out in the boonies, humping ammo all the time and defending the ammo, and I didn't really have time to see anything.
Mm.
I didn't see any shows or anything like that. Because the shows happened.
So you never saw any of the USO shows?
No, none.
Mm.
None at all.
Did you go on leave?
No, I didn't have money to go. I was totally broke. Yeah, they call that an R&R. You could go to Australia or Hawaii or a place like that,
Mm-hmm. So it was it's like a little mini vacation.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
So but you have to pay for all that.
You have to pay for it.
Oh, okay. Do you recall any particularly like humorous or unusual events while you were there? Any weird or funny stories?
Yeah, one time we actually got some time off and we went to to Benoit and got drunk, and then there was a curfew, 10 o'clock night curfew, and we're trying to sneak back into the base, and we flagged down what they call a lambreta, which is like a taxi. It was full of girls, They were about 18, 20, and we were about 22. And we were about the same age. So we all jumped in. 4 guys jumped in, including myself. And we tried to sneak back into the camp. And we had to go through checkpoints manned by the South Vietnamese. And we got pretty close to the base camp. We sort of, when we came to a checkpoint, we would bury our heads into the girl's hair or neck, but there was one guy who had an Armenian guy who had curly hair, totally different than all of us, almost like Afro American guy, So the soldier said, "Oh no, you guys are not Vietnamese. Get off," And so they took us off the taxi.
So what exactly were you guys trying to do? Were you trying
Well,
to
we
bring girls back to the base?
No, we were trying to blend in with the girls so we could get close to the base and then, get into our camp.
Well, so then you were allowed to leave your base.
Yeah,
So what do you like? Was there a curfew or something?
it was a 10 o'clock curfew.
And you were way past the curfew. I
Yeah,
guess.
we're
Okay.
way past the curfew. And we're trying to sneak back into our camp by blending in with the girls. And this one guy had weird hair. And so he threw it off,
Yeah.
So, but, we made it back. We did make it back.
How'd you get back?
Well, we got close enough to the camp and then we walked.
Mm.
But when we got back, we had a problem with the guards around the perimeter. Because they might, they actually loaded their weapons and were going to shoot us.
Really?
Yeah, because they didn't know who we were. It was dark and they had no lights, nothing like that. There was no electricity in Vietnam.
You weren't. Were you? What were you like wearing?
Well, we were wearing civilian clothes when we went to town.
Really?
And, we're not wearing a military uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And so sneaking back into our camp, well, we had to not only get, past the Viet Cong and the South Vietnamese Army, but also our guys, trying trying to sneak back into the camp without getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
So that was funny in a way. You know, we did some stupid stuff.
What other kind of stupid stuff?
Yeah.
What other kind of stupid stuff?
We had to get drunk, and we didn't know how we made it back to the camp.
Just wake up.
Just a blackout,
Yeah.
So I'm surprised we didn't die there. A lot of us didn't die doing stuff, stupid stuff,
Mm-hmm.
more than the combat stuff.
Did you guys pull any pranks or gags on each other?
No, but you know that scene of we often found ourselves in the bunkers in our underwear with a steel pot and our rifles. And we're asleep, and then all of a sudden the alarm goes off that we have to go into the bunker because the mortars coming in and artillery. And so you didn't get a chance to put on your pants or boots. You just ran out to the bunker with your underwear and steel pot and your rifle, So there was a lot of that. That was funny because you didn't have a chance to dress up. Yeah, stuff like that.
So what did you think of everyone around you? Like, other than like your fellow, like your servicemen. Like, what about officers?
We never saw our officers.
So you had a really good bond with the servicemen, but
Yeah, our enlisted guys.
Mhm.
We didn't really run around with our sergeants or officers. And our officers, our captain got killed. They dropped a mortar in his quarters, his tent where he was sleeping.
jeez.
He died there.
Did you keep a journal?
No, I should have. When I look back, I should have kept
Yeah.
a record, But I didn't think about doing that, and I didn't even take a lot of photographs either. I got a few, but not many.
Hmm.
I should have recorded that experience better. But all I wanted to do was put my time and get out.
Yeah.
I didn't care about anything else.
Well, that's what you were worrying about then. You weren't worrying about saving the memories.
No, I was
You're worrying about surviving.
survival mode,
Yeah.
So I really didn't care about recording the experience,
So you said when you got discharged, you said like it just came up to you out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Where were you?
I was
Just
in the
middle
jungle,
of the jungle.
and I don't recall whether I was stuck stacking ammo or not. I was doing something, and then they said, "Salcedo, you going home?" And that was really a surprise, and you know. You know what I did see that one thing that I did see that always bothers me is one day I was on the ammo dump in the far corner, and I saw about 200 helicopters flying over the tree line, and
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen that many, American helicopters. And then all of a sudden, I was there smoking a cigarette and looking at them, and then all of a sudden they started exploding. They're getting shot out of the air.
Really?
Yeah. The Viet Cong or the North Vietnamese were shooting them out of the sky. They were just exploded in pieces. And they scattered. But they got about 4 or 5 of them before they scattered.
Wow.
And I remember seeing the pieces just flying. Like watching the movie.
That's a big hit. Like taking
Yeah.
down 4
And I
or
was
5
there and I said,
aircrafts.
oh, those guys are dead.
Yeah. There's just no chance.
No chance, no.
Unless they were to get out.
No, there was no way.
Parachute.
Because they were just exploding into pieces. Like,
Mm-hmm.
There was no way those guys were
What
alive.
was it, like anti-aircraft artillery?
The what?
Was it like anti-aircraft artillery or something?
It was rockets or something.
Was it hitting the planes directly, or was it like exploding the air like shells? And
It was hitting them directly.
oh, really? Oh,
Yeah. They hit the helicopter directly. That was a weird experience.
So, what was coming home like after all of that?
Not, coming home was not a good experience because America did not give us a parade. There was no kind of excitement, I mean, we
Yeah.
came back and integrated back into society by ourselves without any kind of party or validation of any type.
Recognition.
None. There was war protests everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I never talked about being in the army for years until I remember telling your Aunt Patty that I was in the army. I think she asked me. And I said, yeah, I was in the army. And she said, were you in Vietnam? I said, yeah. But years went by. I never told her.
Wow.
Because, it was not a shameful thing, but it was.
Well, you didn't.
I didn't
it
feel
wasn't,
proud.
Yeah. Okay.
Proud of.
It wasn't like. No. So it was something you would have rather kept, I guess, secret?
Quiet,
Yeah, or quiet, yeah.
To yourself. Because there was no glory in it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give us a parade. They didn't care if we came back or not. It was really strange. Not like they do now. They greet the soldiers coming in from Afghanistan or Iraq, and they buy them a beer, and they have a police escort.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm saying this because I saw that with Austin.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, you're coming in from Afghanistan at the airport. They have 100, 300, citizens from the community coming out to greet them, buy them a beer, and then a police escort to the fort. We had nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was keep it to yourself.
You think you should have had something like that? Definitely.
Huh?
You think you should have had something like that?
Oh yeah.
Because even though it was unpopular, like
Still,
you guys are separate from like the foreign policy of your country. Like you guys are just out there fighting and dying. So
yeah, we stepped up to the plate.
why wouldn't you deserve like some kind of commemoration for it?
Some validation.
Whether you thought it was wrong or not.
Right. Aside from that,
Aside from all of that,
we
like,
should have got.
It's still like a bad experience that.
Yeah, a bad experience all the way around. Now they're trying to give us a parade and.
Yeah, I mean that's literally what this project is.
Yeah. They tell me thanks for serving. It doesn't mean that much.
Mm-hmm.
That would have meant more after I
It
got discharged.
meant a lot more back then. Yeah.
Yeah, a parade, a validation, the president saying, welcome back, and Congress or your community, your family, your friends, and all. No, nothing like that.
So like a few people that were in Vietnam when they assimilated back into society, were they like shunned by people?
Yeah,
People like not like them anymore.
yeah, they were shunned.
Oftentimes.
That's a good word, shunned. And that's why you never talked about it. You just try to get back into society and get a job, go to school, and try to function.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of us had a hard time functioning because we went through this experience in a war zone. There was more. They had more trigger time, more combat time than the guys who went to Korea or World War II. A lot more. We're under more pressure and more combat time. So we came back, with PTSD and problems like that,
How about you? Did you have any problems after that?
Oh yeah, I had PTSD and I didn't even know it. Kept to myself, kept quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to be too social or. Yeah.
Really?
And I didn't know I had PTSD.
So, what exactly would like go through your head like on an average day?
But with
Like what?
PTSD?
Yeah, like what would you like run through like certain events or?
Well, you always, for me, I see the helicopters busting up,
Uh,
as a flashback. And
that's like a real clear image in your head.
yeah, and that comes with anxiety
Mm-hmm.
and you never can sleep. After you come back, you come back a different person. You never can sleep and like before, and you're not as sociable as you were before. So you
Really?
have all those issues coming back from a war zone.
So
Yeah,
you had like insomnia too.
yeah, insomnia, flashbacks.
How long was it like particularly worse at some point than other points,
Well, I think it was
or was
worse
it just
when we came
when you
back.
first got back?
Yeah, yeah, you were, I mean, you were antisocial as well as uh, depressed and isolated and insomnia and all that. So, and they never addressed it. They just brought you from the jungle to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got processed, and then all of a sudden, within 18 hours, I was back in the city.
Yeah, I feel like at least now they're acknowledging that kind of stuff.
Well, they need to, yeah.
At
They're
least
doing
we're
it now. They
yeah.
bring you back, and then sort of.
I think that's a problem though. They teach you to be a soldier, but then they don't like unteach you.
No,
They don't
right.
teach you how to be a citizen again.
No, they don't do that.
They just throw you back.
Yeah, they just throw you back in the city.
Mm.
From the jungle to the city.
But you're like, were you like still in like a
Well, you
war
come back
zone
and you
kind
still
of mindset?
you come back. You still want to have a weapon,
Did you feel like naked without it?
right? Because you had one for 12 months,
Yeah.
24/7, and now all of a sudden you don't have one.
It's like, oh crap! What if the gooks come?
Yeah, what happens? They try
Yeah.
to kill me here. And you never sit, and then you never sit with your back,
Against
exposed.
people.
You're always sitting against the
against the
wall.
wall.
Yeah. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Like mafia bosses or something.
Yeah,
In
you
the
come back
corner.
crazy.
In the corner of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So you come back nutty.
Mm-hmm. Did any of that last through your lifetime, or
It PTSD. If you go through a war zone, a war experience like Vietnam,
it stays with you?
stays with you forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you can never get rid of, no matter how hard you try.
So there's definitely a lot of negatives. Is there any positives from it?
Well, the positive that you were young, you got to meet other people, you got to see a beautiful country, and
You got to see a beautiful country, meet new people, and then
yeah, there's some positives. Otherwise, you kill yourself,
yeah.
and a lot of guys have killed themselves. I mean,
While they were there,
suicide
or
rates.
after.
Yeah,
Oh.
suicide rates are extremely high, and also the homeless rate.
Do you know anybody that committed suicide?
I don't know anybody personally, no, but
Like anybody, like from you or anyone that you knew back then?
no,
Maybe did you hear anything? Or?
no, I didn't hear anybody kill themselves. But I read the stats that Vietnam veterans had a
Mhm.
high suicide rate and homeless rate too, living on the street, away from their families and friends. So, in fact, a lot of the homeless are vets.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
there's got to be a connection between a war experience, being in a war zone, and being homeless. Because why do they make up most of the population, the homeless population? So,
There's definitely a reason.
yeah, there's a correlation there between
Definitely.
being homeless and being
Yeah.
in a war zone.
So, what did you do in the days and weeks afterward? Like once you got back home?
Wait, when we got back home, I tried to get a job. There was no jobs, and I went back to school. Not back to school. I wasn't in school in the first place, but I started college. Uh, about 3 months after I got out, I got discharged. I started the spring semester at a junior college, Fresno
So
City
even
College.
if you were going to school, you could still be drafted.
Huh?
Even if you were going to school, you could still be drafted.
Well, yeah, if you didn't get a deferment, you got drafted. But if you were, middle class, you could. If you were in graduate school, you got a deferment.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you were on a professional track, you got a deferment. Vietnam, the Vietnam experience was made up of poor people, poor Hispanics and poor blacks and
Yeah, that's what
poor
I
whites.
kind of took from like history and everything.
Yeah, it was all poor people's war. All the middle class and upper class got out of it. They either joined reserve units or something like that, or got an exemption. Most of the young guys who went to Vietnam were poor, poor blacks, poor whites, poor Hispanics.
Mm-hmm. So was your education then supported by the GI Bill?
Yeah, I got I think $80 a month, and I went to City College and then Fresno State and then the University of California
Mm.
on GI Bill.
Did you make any close friendships in the service? I know
Yeah,
you kind of already talked about it, but it's just
yeah. I bonded with some guys and
other than the guy from Georgia.
yeah,
Like in that time, not now, but in that time frame, were you still like good buddies with anybody?
yeah. I made some good friends, and one of my biggest fears was that I would be transferred from that company to another company or get shipped out to a different area, and I wouldn't be with those guys. So
Mm-hmm.
you you form this bond, this brotherhood bond.
Yeah, you don't want to start over.
Yeah, you don't want to start over. It's
Yeah.
kind of strange. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but you bond with these guys and you want to stay with them,
Yeah,
and you want to protect them. They want to protect you. And,
yeah, it's like the team thing, you know.
yeah, yeah,
I got like that same stuff when I played like high school sports and stuff.
something like
You
that.
know?
Yeah.
Not to that extent, but something.
I mean, and we're not talking about gay things, so we're
No,
talking
no, 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 no.
that kind of a deal. It's just a
Brotherhood.
close bond,
Yeah, like brotherhood.
like brotherhood,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was kind of a strange feeling about the bonding,
Um, so you said you continued that relationship with the guy in Georgia.
Yeah,
Did you
and
continue
then-
any other relationships?
Well, I used to keep in touch with another guy named John Zamora, and he came to visit me in New York, and that was the last time we visited or saw each other, about 10 years ago. And then another guy named Ed Duval, and I saw him at Fresno State in college. But they weren't really. They just didn't. We just didn't kept in touch after that. We did sort of briefly, and then it disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Not like this guy from Georgia, which he calls me every week, or I call him and I visit him.
Yeah. So, what did you go on to do as a career after your service?
What I did, what?
Yeah, what was your career after service?
Well, after the service, I went to school, and I didn't know anybody that had gone to school before, to college. So I went there, and I liked it because it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was protests, and there was theater and music, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of counterculture, hippies, and it was just wild. It
Yeah.
was entertaining. I like that. So I didn't really have a career in mind. I just went to school because I didn't want to work. I mean, I thought work was worse than going to school. So I went to school and got one degree after another. By the time I knew it, I had 4 degrees. And when I graduated from grad school, I went to work as a social worker because that was my discipline. And I worked in social work for 35 years.
So what were you majoring in?
Well, undergraduate was sociology. I got a degree in sociology, and I got a master's in social work. So I went to work as a social worker for 35 years. I worked for mainly counties like Santa Barbara County, Fresno County, and Westchester County, where I retired from. So I did social work. It's not really what I really wanted to do. You know, what I really wanted to do was
Yeah, well, if you could do it all over, what would you do?
I would do it in anthropology, physical anthropology.
Really?
Yeah. Um, but at the time, I really didn't even know the difference between grad school and undergraduate. I mean, nobody had ever gone to college, so I didn't know there was
From
a
your
difference.
family.
Yeah. I didn't know that, that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
went-
you weren't even from the United States, you know?
No, I was born in Mexico, and I came to the United States when I was 3. So, and if I had to do it again, I would probably go into anthropology.
What would you have wanted to do with anthropology? Any specific field?
Well, a history.
Is physical anthropology, is that like actually almost like going and digging stuff up? Or,
Well, that's part of it. Yeah. Uh, you know, digging up old cultures, studying old civilizations, trying to piece together the story.
mm-hmm.
You know, I think that I find that more interesting than sociology and social work.
So what did you do for social work then?
Well, for social work, I worked in mental health, and then I worked in early intervention, and mental health was working with mentally ill people, and early intervention was working with kids. I like the kids better than mental health.
Mm-hmm. I think I would too.
Yeah, I didn't like seeing all these mentally ill people.
Mm-hmm.
It was just very difficult and stressful. I thought the kids 1 to 3 were a lot better,
Yeah.
because they were kids and they were babies, So
So did you have like an image of military service that was different before you were stationed in Vietnam? Like, actually, that was worded very weird. Like, how did your military experience influence your thinking about war or the military in general?
well, I think you got to have a military to protect your lifestyle, your freedom. You can't do without a military. And I think what the military gave me was discipline. To
Mm-hmm.
be at a job at a certain time, to do what's expected of you at a certain time. It also taught me honor and pride. You know, uh, and structure. Gave me structure.
Organization and
Yeah,
routine.
yeah. It gave me the structure that I needed to go to college and then also to maintain a job. And also raise a family.
So when you got back, did you go like anti-war or?
Well, when I get back, I did think that the war was wrong, that we had no business there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a part of my life, yeah, anti-war. Because what I saw there, and when I came back, I just figured out it was just not right. We had no business over there.
Mm-hmm. So did you join any veteran organizations?
Not really. You know, I pretty much stayed to myself and went to school and worked. I had part-time jobs while I was in school. So I was pretty busy. I didn't really have time to do much other than that.
Um, you guys have any reunions?
No, we don't have any.
Really?
Some units do have reunions, like the 25th Infantry Division. They meet somewhere in Hawaii or Baltimore. And other units, you know, have reunions, but we never had one.
Really?
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind going to one. You know, see the old guys, you know.
Yeah, I would go.
Yeah.
So how did your service and experience affect your life?
Well, other than the
in the long
PTSD,
Yeah, like in the long run.
other than the PTSD,
In the big picture of it all.
well, it affects you because it does taint the way you see the world, the way you interact with society, and the way you see politics, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that during the Vietnam War, our politicians were lying to us all the time.
Yeah.
So now you don't trust your government, you know? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we got into the war on a lie.
On a lie, you know, the Gulf of Tonka
The
thing.
incident, yep.
And so you begin to distrust your own government because you know they've been lying to you.
Right.
So that changed. Before I used to trust the government and the politicians, and I believe everything they said.
Yeah. But it's like, do you think it's like a ignorance is bliss kind of thing, or would you rather, know all of that?
I think I'd rather know, but, you know, because you need to know.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But, you know, they lie.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to live with that.
Yeah.
Elect more honest people, you know?
I think the whole system is just fucked.
It
I
is.
think it's just a broken system. It doesn't really work.
Well, it works.
Like how we think it works. I mean.
Well, it doesn't work as
I
well
mean-
as we want it to work, you know?
Yeah, it's just not the same as I think that we have like pictured in our head.
Yeah, like the NRS is, what, is that the NRS? National Security,
NSA.
NSA. That,
Yeah. All that's yep.
yeah, there's,
Yeah. Patriot Act. coming from it.
it's completely violating the Constitution of First Amendment and Fourth, and you know. So, I guess it's up to us to keep those guys honest who are running the country, you know. But we keep on electing nothing but idiots who cheat and lie, you know.
But that's the thing, though. Like we don't even. It's like we're just presented with people. Like we don't actually
Have much to
Yeah, it's
say
like
about
once
it.
once it's like once they're big enough to, let's say, maybe be the president, they're already so tied in with corruption. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's
see that
like-
with
like,
Obama.
Yeah, like you can't
Lying
you
and-
can't get elected without getting your hands dirty.
Yeah,
That's what I mean by like I think it's like a broken system.
yeah, and then there's no transparency.
None.
He said
None.
his government was going to be clear and
Yeah. There's
transparent.
none.
It was a big lie.
I wish I like never even voted in general.
Yeah, I voted.
I voted for Obama.
I never voted for
The
him. I just
re-election.
thought he was a liar. And turned out to be true.
Yeah. Pretty much.
There was nobody really to vote for.
That's what I mean. There's no options.
No,
There's
No.
never option. It's like this guy or this guy.
this guy or that guy.
And plus, I'm registered as independent, so I can't even vote in
General
primaries or
Primary,
anything.
just a
So
general.
for me, it's literally just that guy or that guy when I vote
Yeah.
because I'm not part of a party.
Well, I'm a Democrat, but I vote for anybody really
Hmm.
who's
Yeah, I
going to
don't
give us the
care.
best deal. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't vote down the party line, up and down. You know, because sometimes you don't like the guy.
Yeah, if you're sticking, I think that's the wrong way to do it. If you're
Like in
just
New York, we have Cuomo, who's a thug and a criminal, and he's a Democrat. But I'm not going to vote for him because I don't like him. I don't like his
I don't
politics.
really. I mean, the thing is like I just don't see much difference between Democrats and Republicans. You know,
No,
there's really none.
just a name.
It's all just like a game.
It is.
You know.
Yeah, there's
It's-
no difference between a Republican and a Democrat. They're all corrupt.
hmm So do you think you would have paid attention to stuff like that without having the military service, like in your past?
Well, it did change me.
Do you think you would have noticed like all that kind of stuff?
No, before that, I was naive and innocent.
Yeah, but do you think you
The war did
would
change
have noticed that, like, if you didn't have served?
I don't know, but I know that the military did change me. That
Mhm.
war experience changed me. I guess he opened up my eyes. It was like Adam in the Garden of Eve, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it changed my life completely.
You bit the fruit of knowledge.
Yeah, I came back a different person.
So we're closing up pretty soon. Is there anything you would like to add that hasn't been covered in this interview? Any other
Well,
stories, experiences, anything you want to add?
you know, being in the military does give you a lot of structure and discipline and focus, and you need a military to protect your country, your borders, and your way of life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to focus on the politicians who run in the country because they don't tell the truth and they're working for big companies and special interests and all that and trying to sell it to you so they can divide the treasure, the American treasure, among their friends, you know?
Right.
So that's what you have to worry about. And that's what I learned after coming out of the military and going through college. You know, that
Mm-hmm.
they're not honest people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess just knowing, I guess it's bad.
Yeah.
What do you do?
There's not. I mean, there's not much to do.
What you can do, you got to live with it.
Yeah. I mean, if we were all to rally in the streets, we'd all just be destroyed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I don't know.
It'd be very tough
It is a tough situation
for
to be
some
in.
kind of revolution.
Yeah.
I don't think we're anywhere
But you know what?
near
I think
something like that.
the American Indians had a good system going because they are the ones that gave us.
The Iroquois had the first democracy in North America. The Iroquois tribe,
Yeah, they gave us.
and
democracy.
it was much further democratic than
Yeah,
our own
yeah,
because everyone actually talked and had a say, like even kids.
yeah.
You know.
We got the democracy from them, from the Iroquois Confederacy,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they were more.
Oh,
Free.
back. What was that like? 1600s?
Well,
Yeah.
before 1492.
No. I mean,
when the
Iroquois.
Well, the 1600s is when Jefferson and Paine,
Mhm.
Thomas Paine, and Franklin got the concept of democracy from the Iroquois, and then they adopted it as their own, and they came up with the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and all that.
Yeah.
But it's based on the Iroquois.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't give the Iroquois much credit.
No,
because
none. When was a Native American ever given credit for anything?
Nothing.
Never.
They don't even acknowledge
Exactly.
it. Yeah. But I think they had a good thing going before Europeans came here.
Yeah, I'd say
I think
so.
they had a good democracy. They were free. They had food. They had plenty of food. And most of the food we eat today came from Native Americans. You know, from the tomato,
Oh yeah.
potato,
Hmm.
peanuts, vanilla, chocolate. Most of the fried food that we eat, like French fries and
Well, that's Native American.
yeah,
French fries are Native American.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Like
Read
from
the book.
what, like north or south?
South.
South. Oh, south. Because what in like
Most of the
Peru?
fried food in the South came from Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Wow.
Also, what's that? Cracker Jacks. What is in the Cracker Jacks? It's corn, right?
Yeah, it's a
Popcorn.
Yeah, it's a popcorn, but it's like
With
super glazed.
caramel
Yeah,
or-
it's caramel glaze, I think.
That came from them too. So, all the food we eat today came from them. The medicine too. There's a book called Indian Giver by Jack Weatherford. He talks all about the food and medicine that we got from them.
Mm.
We gave them credit. Also, the democratic form of government, of talking it out and persuasion and, you know, representing people and all that came from them. We just took it from them. But I think we corrupted it.
Oh yeah.
It's more corrupt now than...
Muddled it.
Yeah, and then we're going to poison ourselves because we're dumping animal waste and...
Oh yeah, but now we're to the point where we don't even need to eat real food. We have genetic food.
Yeah, we have...
Genetically modified food.
Yeah, modified food through genetic manipulation.
Yeah. Like
So...
my generation and the generations to come, we're probably all gonna get cancer from that shit.
Well, you know, it's going into the stream because, you know, all the things, all the medicine that we take, we put it out in a waste, as a waste, a form of waste that finds its way to the streams and rivers. So now they're testing the rivers and they're finding all this stuff, all this pharmaceuticals and
Mm-hmm.
animal waste and pesticides. It's gonna hurt us somehow.
All right, we kind of strayed away.
We sort of screw ourselves up.
Yeah, we strayed away from the interview a little bit. So, anything else you wanted to add?
No.
About service or anything?
Well, I wish that America would have gave us a parade and validation.
A thank you. You know.
And thank you. Yeah. That I think was the wrong thing was wrong in America, not to validate its warriors coming back from Vietnam. That's a hurt right there. They should have gave us a parade and some kind of validation.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'll end it with that.
All right. Well, thank you, Uncle Louie.
You're welcome.
Let me just. Signing out.